What is up, all my chosen ones? Jazz Roy's back now, guys. Today we got an exciting video to cover, guys. I'm gonna show you guys a literal example of how history is repeating itself with the proof in the pudding, guys. I found the original Shiba Inu chart dating back to around the price point that we're seeing right now in Volt, and we're gonna see how we are emulating this run play by play. Let's get into this. Now, before we begin, guys, please do me a favor and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, guys. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell for me, please, and thank you. Now, this just in, guys, breaking news, as I just said that intro. We just got another tweet from Voltoshi looking in, and he just said only a few hours left before Volt starts burning on Polygon on top of all the existing burn mechanisms. Timeout. Let me retweet that now. Literally, it just popped out. I got my notifications are turned on now for Voltoshi, of course. I saw it on my phone. Now, coming back in, a lot of things to cover. We're gonna go scrape over it right now before we get to the good stuff, the juicy stuff, right? Volt sitting in the 16s, looking like we're holding a pretty good level of support. We're still up over that 100 million market cap range. The game beta, if you will, of the game had just come out, and I've been watching it, guys. It looks incredible, and it's about to be available on Steam very soon. Now, Steam is very popular. If you guys notice, I have the Steam icon down here because I am a gamer myself, but not too much of a gamer. I play more so just GTA 5M with the mods and stuff. But other than that, guys, that is a huge level of exposure for Volt. Matter of fact, so big that Voltoshi even went to look up the exact facts. Over 120 million active players, guys. Now, if you don't know why this is such a big deal, Volt has a battle royale game that they've been showing teasers of, and I actually had the tweet pulled up, but there's so much going on. I'm struggling to find it right now. Here we go. Back at the top, guys. I'm gonna just skip right over so you can get a glimpse of what it's looking like, guys. Check this out. Check this out. All of a sudden, those $200-300 offers are now becoming $745, $750, $800 offers on the NFTs, and it's been just going left and right. I've been looking. I had 3 active offers for 2x the price that I got the NFT for back in August. Of course, I didn't accept them, but that, guys, just shows how quickly things are starting to turn around. This is why I also wanted to point out, shout out to Ben over here. I saw his tweet right after I made my tweet now, because we saw this live on Pablo's stream if you weren't tuned into that last night. Now, Volt Inu was known as the #1 most viewed project in the world at the time of this screenshot. This was last night. I checked earlier. It's like at #2 right now. This OXAI is on top for now. But still, guys, Volt as #1 most viewed. This is over 22,000 different tokens and coins. Volt was the #1 most viewed, higher than the top 2 stables, higher than Shiba, the example that we're about to get into right after this topic. Guys, what is going on? Can somebody please tell me? Because it's like when you're pinching yourself because you know the dream you've been waiting on for so long is coming true. You got to make sure you're still breathing and that your pulse is still regulating correctly, because I'm still pinching myself right now as we speak. Now, I'm about to start pinching myself even harder once we get to the good stuff of why you clicked on this video, guys. Look at this example that I'm about to make. I believe I found the original Shiba Inu chart. There's a lot of different ones. This one was from the oldest one dating back to 2 years ago. So when I looked back, this started from where the price was in January of 2021, and we saw both of the runs and we saw what happened. So looking at this chart, guys, pay close attention, man. Turn the volume up for this one, because this one gave me chills just going over it before I even started recording this. Now, as we see over here, this is the original Shiba Inu chart. We are right now in April 15th, 2 years ago, before the craze took place. Now, as you can see, guys, zooming out a bit, I don't want to zoom out too much because I got a very good position on the candles. It was flatline for the whole first part of 2021. As you can see, the price has been fluctuating between the 7.0 to 6.0 territory, and I'm gonna try and zoom in a little more to give you guys an exact feel of what really happened. Right over here was the first big candle that Shiba Inu saw. This is April 16th, 2021. As you can see, the floor of this candle was right around that 6 zeros 28 price range, and in this candle alone, the top of it ran up to 5 zeros 15. Yes, guys, so that wasn't exactly a 10x, but I was close to a 10x. That was at least more than a 5x in the same exact day out of the blue. What happened after that? Well, going into April 17th, the rally started to continue. People wanted to see if they can be able to get that 10x from this original price right here of that 602 territory. Does that kind of sound a bit familiar? Well, let's keep going. So they did it. They accomplished it. They managed to 10x. They actually broke into the 50 and the 3 territory. Cough, cough. You know, ironically, isn't that Volt's all-time high right now, the 5 zeros and a 3? Well, they managed to hit that as their all-time high too in April 20th. So now this is 4 days later, and of course the Jeets were still around, guys, since the dawn of time, because the Jeets came in thinking they won, and they started selling at that high mark of 5 zeros and a 3, and they dropped the price down to 5 zeros and a 1. Now that may have seemed devastating for the ones that may have gotten in at the top of this 10x pinnacle, but for the ones that were down here, we're still significantly up despite the G's trying to have their way on the chart. Now let's skip ahead a little bit. As you can see, since that sell-off after they hit the 5 zeros and the 3s, it was just trading sideways, fluctuating up and down. I'm sure there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt taking place until all of a sudden, coming back from the drop of April 21st, we go over here to May 7th. So now we're looking at a cool 2-3 weeks of a difference. Couldn't do the math right now. 2 to 3 weeks. And as we can see, a big pump started to erupt on the 7th of May, and it was at still a floor level of 5 zeros 14. Now, just giving you guys a little heads up, Volt's price right now is at the 5 zeros 16. Our all-time high is, yes, the 5 zeros 3 above, 3.5. We've made attempts getting there, and both attempts we have broke into the 2s, but yet still never fully broke out from the 2s, consolidating in the early 5 zeros 1 territory. If we're being exact, 5 zeros and a 16 is actually higher than where Shiba was consolidating 2 years ago in that 5 zeros 14 bracket, but it did also come up a bit to the 16s like what we're seeing right now with Volt's price before the first big rally run. Now we're gonna detail this rally run break by break, guys. I zoomed in like crazy so you guys can see the full detail of what this run actually was. Starting over here on May 7th, 5 zeros and 14 was the floor price for that day. It looked like another boring day in the markets. The chart's been down for weeks, not significantly down if you were early on Shiba, but down enough that it was starting to seem like the fun going away. Not just yet. What the G's didn't see coming is May 7th. May 7th, the price pumped from 5 zeros 14 all the way up to 5 zeros 44. Roughly a 3x increase out of nowhere on that first pump day. What happened shortly after that? Well, let's go into May 8th, the next day. Taken from that 5 zeros 4 range, that big pump that we saw on Shiba, that candle on the 8th ran all the way, and we still climbing up here to 4 zeros and an 18. That's right, guys. Almost a 10x in price in that day alone. And from the day before that 5 zeros and a 14 floor price, that was a 10x. So within May 7th to May 8th, after weeks of consolidating in the 14 to 18 zone, it 10x'd. Now, of course, like I said, oh, the Jeets will never stop, because look at what happened here. They tried to sell off on the 9th. They said, oh, this is too good to be true. It's too good to be true. They sold off on the 9th. They even dropped the price down to 4 zeros and an 11. But guess what? The guys that were still in from that first little pump that they had in the early 6 zero to 5 zero territory, they're still up 10x on their money even after the G's tried to sell off on them, right? What happened the next day? Let's continue. May 10th and 11th were looking like 2 breakout attempts. They didn't quite get there yet, but it was still holding a steady level. And then we're gonna go over here and look at what happened on the 12th. Now on the 12th, keep in mind at this point the all-time high is already 4 zeros 18. On the 12th, it had that one last hurrah for the summer, coming up here to 4 zeros and a 28. Now guys, if you kept up, that seems like a pretty rocky ride, right? Well, let me go and show you guys some perspective. This is the run that we saw dating from late April up until early May. And we're gonna go look and see when the first bullish trend began. So this was back here in April 16th. We're gonna go one more time and look at that price for those that may have not remembered. Right over here, right around that 603 territory is where it started gaining some steam. 602, 603 territory, right? On April 16th. Keep that number in mind. We're gonna go look at the high of where things were just hardly a month, 3.5 weeks from that first breakout. Right over here at the top, 4 zeros and a 28, guys. Do the math. That is a 100x. The ones that were in there from that first run and still held their bag from down here in April 16th made a 100x on the first main run on Shiba Inu within 3.5 weeks, guys. 100x. Now, of course, people sold off from there. At the 100x mark, they were like, oh snap, you know. And on top of that, India got the relief funds. They was maxing out on that because Vitalik gave it to them. They was maxing it out, as you can see. And this is around the time when I got into Shiba too, when we were starting to hit that floor price, started dollar cost averaging, really learning about what meme coins were about. And it stayed like this for months, guys. I was dollar cost averaging back when I was still working at my job. Every part of my paycheck, man, every part of my paycheck, I sacrificed. I don't have to go to this restaurant. I could buy some Shiba with this. I'll thug it out. And it kept going like this and kept going like this all the way up until we saw October begin. When October began, guys, look at the price where things started to pump. 5 zeros and an 8. So some perspective, those that were already in there and that somehow still, even if you took profits at 100x, which, you know, at that point, yeah, it is for sure smart to take some profits, but to not sell your whole bag if you know that the project has potential that stretches far beyond that initial pump. And it's important to stress that, because let's say you still left at least 50% of your bag sitting there, right? For the remainder of the year, you're living off the other 50% that you took out. You're set. That 50% that you left behind is still up more than a 10x in consolidation. Now on October, the price did one more shoot up from 5 zeros and an 8, and we gotta climb because it's really climbed. We still climbing now all the way up to here from 5 zeros and an 8 to that 4 zeros and a 9, about to hit 3 zeros, guys. That means that moon bag that they left behind, which who knows, it could have been hundreds of thousands of dollars they left behind after taking profits at the 100x. The smart ones had millions that they left behind. Well, that did more than a 10x right at the last peak of the bull cycle. Now do you guys have a very clear understanding on how history is repeating itself? And I always stress about that in every single vault update, whether the price is up or down. Now do you guys understand what Pablo has been preaching, saying that we've seen this before? It's just a matter of hanging in there. Not to mention Indonesia. Let's talk about Indonesia. This is going to be a longer video than usual, guys. Now, right over here, guys, you remember we are going on Indodax exchange, the #1 exchange in Indonesia. Check this out. Just days after the announcement of that listing, right over here, new Indonesia to launch a state-backed BTC and their own exchange by mid of this year. That's not a coincidence. Well, it is a coincidence, but how? He's a time traveler. There's no way that you can anticipate that and act ahead of time and get us on the top exchange there, and then they come out with this news just days after. There's some things going on behind the scenes that I myself am not even aware of, but I, just like you guys, I'm sitting at the edge of my seat waiting to see what really unfolds. With that being said, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm Jazz Royce, and like I always say, I'm going to catch each and every one of you guys at the top.